What is a good footprint? A good footprint are digital documents that lead back to you, or physical documents that lead back to you. A good footprint is something that you have complete control over. It makes it easy for someone you meet with inside a company to communicate your value and your status to other people. If it's done well, your contact can forward your documentation with little further detail, as the footprint itself is somewhat self-explanatory. Good footprint examples include things that further illustrate an idea, talk about a leadership strategy or a philosophy. They might be detailed references to a problem that is parallel to the needs of the company you're interviewing with, or maybe even a customer that you're speaking with. Examples of good footprints, what do these include? Well, first of all, your bio. This is a high-level, usually a single paragraph, short but detailed overview of your skills, your value, and your history to date. How good is your bio? Do you need to work on it? Thank you notes are an example of a good footprint. These are personal and professional expressions of gratitude and appreciation. This is where you can let people know you paid attention to small details and you genuinely appreciate the offer or the opportunity to meet with them. A value proposition or a discussion document. These are customized documents that you put together that expands on key questions that might be asked in an interview or interaction process. You might provide situational understandings or summaries, deliverables associated with direct and measurable value you intend to create, and this document paints a unique picture of your talent and your experience. It could address problems that you'll solve, efficiencies you can create, new forms of revenue that you can deliver, strategic partners that you could introduce, measurable advantage or market opportunity you can deliver that will add value to each person or department that is part of the decision-making process. You want to customize this document for each person you interview with in each department. This becomes a summary of why they should vote for you as a candidate and why you're uniquely qualified, because your personal and measurable value equates to right fit in their mind. And if you do a good digital footprint, this becomes a way that you control the conversation internally within organizations, and they can endorse you and use your own words to do so. Good footprints can happen in an on-site presentation. This might be a place where you present a case study or do a product demo. This also might be a presentation on how you've addressed challenges that result in new revenue, new markets, channel partners, opportunity, or innovation. Another example of a good footprint is an addendum. Much like your discussion document, this is a document that addresses a specific topic or question raised during the discussion or as it was requested. It might include portfolio samples, summarized industry intelligence, professional references, or anything that helps you describe your value or answer a question. Finally, proposal for services. If you are an entrepreneurial resource, a contractor, or a consultant or service provider, you need a detailed scope of services that is proposed. You also need to lay out the terms of engagement or your retainer. I encourage you, as you think about your proposal for services, that you write it in great detail and that you never ever use the word bid to describe your proposal for services. Why? Well, it seems like a small thing, but bids often infer that there are multiple bidders. Bids also infer that you're competing on price and not necessarily on value. Bids also infer that often there's a line item comparison going on between one bid to another, or what's often called an apple-to-apple comparison. You are not an apple, so do not use the word bid. Always use the word proposal for services. On the contrary, what is a good footprint killer? Well, good footprint killers include no meaningful documentation, no follow-through, and no clear next step, as you are being passive in the interview process. Let me say that again. What's a good footprint killer? When you have no meaningful documentation, there is no follow-through, there is no clear next step, and you are being passive in the interview process. It also might include sketchy details where you're just talking at a high level, but you're not really answering questions. It can also be poorly written communication or typos with any type of email you might be sending or addendum. It might be a poorly presented human brand. For example, in the interview process, many times people pull up your online post and compare it to who they're interviewing in their office. If there's disconnect between how you are presenting yourself online and how you're presenting yourself in office, that could be a real problem. What kinds of things online contribute to a poorly presented human brand? Well, let's say you're drinking in every photo. Let's say you're argumentative or posting moody, exploratory things on your perception of politics. All of these things can add to a disconnect and cause a poor reflection on your human brand. It breaks my heart in my own social feeds when I see people talk about being wildly anxious, wildly depressed, while I know they're also looking for a job and that their employer is most likely pulling up their feed to see what their mental state of mind is. You need to ask yourself before every single post, how does this contribute to my human brand? Do I really need to say this? Do other people really need to know this? I encourage you to ask yourself to filter things through the question, if my employer saw this, how does this reflect on me? Additional things that kill a good footprint include incomplete information, lack of follow-up or follow-through, and a poorly presented human brand. So when I talk about human brand, I'm talking about physically how you present yourself. So things that contribute to a footprint killer might be a very outdated headshot. So they see your picture online, they bring you in for an interview and you look very different. That's a problem. So if you've got terrible halitosis, bad breath, man, that's gonna be bad. If you're eating tacos before that interview, make sure to do something with your breath, okay? How about your hair? Is your hair presentable? Is it clean? Are your nails clean? Are your shoes polished? Are your clothes pressed? I know I sound like your mother right now, but my point being this, how you present yourself to other people genuinely matters, and they're asking themselves, do I like you? Do I trust you? Do I want to be around you? Look in the mirror, talk to your good friends and ask them, is there a way I can improve? Because we all have areas in which we can come up. Next up, we're going to talk about how to be a closer and embrace the mindset of a closer.